Why do we have money in the first place? I know it's a stupid question. Like I said earlier, most of us just consider it a fact of life as necessary to human survival as food, air, and water. The truth, however, is that while food, air, and water are indeed necessary to sustain life, money is not. It's a man-made contrivance. We created it, and we can eliminate it whenever we choose. Think about this. Of all God's creations, human beings are the only ones using money. Except for us, all of nature seems to roll along just fine without it. Yet we wouldn't quite know how to interact with each other without the use of money. What money does is facilitate trade. When you buy something, you're really trading money for whatever it is you're buying. It hasn't always been this way. Back in the day, if I wanted your spear, I might pick up a rock, clonk you over the head, and take it from you. Later on, someone might come along and clonk me over the head and claim the spear as his own. After a while, we figured out that it would be better if I offered you a beaver skin for your spear. If you happen to be in the need of a beaver skin, we swap and both of us walk away happy. No clonking required. On the other hand, if you don't need a beaver skin, we're back to the clonking method. Now, crude as it was, this is the way we human beings interacted for quite some time. As a matter of fact, a version of this type of behavior is still used today. The clonking method is generally referred to as barbarism, and we call the beaver skin for spear method barter. Anyway, we eventually discovered some stuff that just about everyone liked. Gold, and to a lesser degree, silver. I'm not exactly sure why it had such a universal appeal. You can't eat it, and it won't keep you warm in the winter. Nevertheless, people seem to be enamored with it. So now I can offer you a hunk of gold for your spear, and we can make the trade that way. You can then take that same hunk of gold and trade it for something you'd like to have. Gold, therefore, was the first form of money, and we now have moved into a monetary system. Now, in time, we got tired of carrying around all that gold and silver. Enter the goldsmith. Here's a guy, we'll call him Tom, who says, "For a small fee, I'll keep your gold safe under lock and key and give you a paper receipt. Whenever you want the gold back, just bring me the receipt and I'll give it back to you." So Tom is the first banker, and that receipt is the first paper money. Now if I want a spear, I can go to the spear maker, give her the receipt, and say, "Take this to Tom and he'll give you my hunk of gold," which she can certainly do. But instead she takes the receipt to the rug maker, trades it for a rug, and tells the rug maker to take the receipt to Tom, and, well, you can see where this is going. Now, this method seemed to work pretty well. Eventually, it occurs to Tom that instead of people bringing in receipts to claim their gold, they're mostly just passing them around among themselves. So he says to himself, "If I issue some more receipts, even though the gold isn't there to back them, I can collect more fees, and as long as people keep circulating the receipts, no one will be the wiser." Thus the creation of what we now call fractional reserve, which means that as long as Tom keeps enough gold on hand to redeem the receipts that do come in, he can distribute as many new receipts as he likes and collect the fees. Then there's this fellow who we'll call Bill. Now, Bill's son Johnny has been playing with his dad's spear one day and it broke. Since every respectable household needs a good spear on hand, Bill needs to get another one, fast. Unfortunately, he's just used his last ounce of gold to trade for a pearl necklace for his lovely wife. So he goes to Tom and says, "Tom, old buddy, if you'll let me use some of that gold you have on hand to get a spear, I'll gladly give it back next time I sell some fish." Bill's a fisherman. so you'll have it when whoever it belongs to comes for it. Now remember, none of the gold in Tom's vault actually belongs to Tom. He's just keeping it for other people. So Tom says to himself, I've been giving these worthless receipts to people, and that seems to be working out just fine. If I give one to Bill, he'll repay me with actual gold in a few weeks, and that gold will be mine. So Tom says to Bill, how about instead of gold, I give you a receipt for 5 ounces of gold, and you can use that to trade for a spear. But when you give me your gold in a few weeks, you need to give me 6 ounces, 5 as repayment, and an additional one for the risk I'm taking. Bill agrees to these terms. When Bill gives Tom the 6 ounces of gold, Tom's personal wealth grows by 6 ounces because he never had the original 5 ounces in the first place. So he has, in effect, created gold where there was none. Now this little story, crude as it may be, is an oversimplification of how money comes into existence, through debt. And it's still that way today. Money is loaned into being. When you go to a bank to borrow money for a car, home repair, or whatever, you sign an agreement to repay. You don't actually receive any money, it's all on paper. Then you go home and look online, and sure enough, there it is, right there in your account. But in reality, there's nothing of real value at all. It's just a great big illusion, a game that we all play. Anyway, as the years went by, keeping up with how much real money there was, in other words, actual gold and silver, compared to how much paper was floating around became increasingly difficult. Banking and the whole monetary system became so convoluted that ordinary folks had no idea what was going on anymore. Henry Ford is known to have said, "It is well enough that people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system, for if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning." If you have any doubt that we humans have largely handed our fate over to money and its behavior, consider the Great Depression. For the better part of a decade, the industrialized world mostly ground to a halt. Yet people were every bit as capable of carrying on as usual after the crash of '29 as they were before the crash. People didn't change. They didn't lose their talents or skills or suddenly become stupid or disabled. The only thing that changed was that the monetary system was topsy-turvy. As far as I can tell, everything could have gone on normally if they had just decided to eliminate money from the picture. But by that time, money had become so thoroughly integrated into their way of life, they didn't know how to handle themselves. Because the monetary system was turned on its ear, people went nuts. Hunger and starvation, poverty, homelessness, even suicides. All because these pieces of paper weren't as readily available as they had been. Now I know I'm oversimplifying again. Still, I think it's clear that money has way too much power over people. Eventually, in 1971, President Richard Nixon decided to heck with all of it and went totally to fiat currency, which is paper money that's not backed by anything. Basically, the government says, these pieces of paper are valuable because we're the government and we say they're valuable, and that's that. The past half century or so has seen the rise of a thing called the financial industry, in which money itself has become the thing that is to be valued. We've lost sight of the fact that money, whether it's paper, plastic, gold, digits on a computer screen, or any of its other forms, is absolutely useless to humans. Humans need food, air, water, shelter, love, understanding, companionship, and things like that. Now, money can be exchanged for some of these things, but the money itself, the actual stuff we call money, won't fill any human needs. Put another way, money is not what matters. People and our needs is what matters. Money's just sort of a middleman. We've just become so totally programmed that the only way to meet our needs is through the use of money that other avenues don't even occur to us. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting theft or any other illegal activity, excuse me. I'm talking about a fundamental change in the way we interact with one another, a non-monetary system, a people system of sorts. Never forget that human beings occur in nature. Money does not. People are therefore part of the natural order of the world. Money is not. Our world has come to a place where everything and everyone's well-being is dependent on the behavior of money. The focus is on the Dow Jones average rather than how to end hunger in the world. Human beings, who money was designed to serve, have fallen into the shadows while the money itself looms larger than life. Like Dr. Frankenstein's monster, our creation is destroying us. The original intent of money to facilitate trade is long in our past. The servant has become the master. I'm here to propose the idea that the use of money and all its iterations is soon to be outdated. It's time that people move forward into what I hope is the next phase of human development, the next step toward human civilization, a kinder world in which people take care of each other, one of cooperation rather than competition, a time in which money is neither needed nor wanted. I'll leave you to consider this question. Just because something has existed, even for hundreds of years, does that mean it must always exist? Thank you for listening.